The Galactic Council chamber floated above a bright blue gas giant, its rings stretching across the stars like shining ribbons. The chamber itself was a massive circle made of silver metal and glowing crystal lines. Every seat was taken, every species was present. Everyone waited for one thing: a warning. Ambassador Laren stood at the center of the chamber. His long dark robe touched the floor, and the soft lights reflected on his silver skin. He was old, calm, and wise, known in the galaxy for his careful thinking. He spent more years studying humans than any other alien in the room, and today he looked more serious than ever before. He raised a hologram in the air. A small human ship was shown traveling near the edges of alien territory. "This is the report," Laren said in a steady voice. "Humans are expanding again. They have reached Sector 12. Before we act, we must understand them." A few alien leaders exchanged annoyed glances. "Humans," one large reptilian leader scoffed. "They are still young. Still weak. Why should we care about them?" Another leader, a tall insectoid commander, clicked her mandibles and laughed. "Humans are emotional creatures, unstable, loud. They break easily." Laron did not smile. "That is exactly the problem. You think they break, but they do not." Soft murmurs filled the chamber. He continued, "Humans grow stronger under pressure. They adapt faster than any species here. They learn at a speed we do not understand. And when humans are pushed," he paused, searching for the right words. "When they are threatened, they rise." But no one listened. A bulky war general knocked on the table. "Ambassador Liran, you worry too much. Humanity is a tiny force. They will not stand against us." Liran pressed a button. Another hologram appeared. Old battles, old conflicts, old moments where humans survived what should have destroyed them. There was silence for a moment. They survived all that. A soft-voiced aquatic alien asked. "Yes," Laren said quietly. "They survived because humans refused to die. Their spirit is different. When cornered, they do not surrender. They fight harder." Some council members grew uneasy. Others rolled their eyes. A proud avian leader flapped her wings sharply. "We do not need this fear talk. Humans are simple mammals. They will learn their place." Laron looked around the chamber. He saw pride. He saw arrogance. And he knew this was a disaster waiting to happen. "In all my studies," said, "there is only one truth about humans. Do not provoke them. If you want peace, leave them alone. If you want safety, treat them with respect. Because once a human feels threatened, there is no force in this galaxy that can stop what comes next." The room fell quiet, but only for a moment. Then loud laughter spread. "Enough," shouted the reptilian general. "This council will not be ruled by fear of hairless apes." The chamber erupted into arguments. Some leaders insulted humans. Others dismissed the warning as old stories. A few stayed silent, unsure what to believe. Liran felt helpless. He knew this day would come, the day when pride blinded reason. He lowered his head and turned off the holograms. No one had truly heard him. Far away, on a human outpost, near a quiet star, a small team monitored communication lines. They were not part of any war. They were scientists and explorers, not soldiers. Their station was calm, peaceful, almost boring. But tonight something changed. A soft alarm began to blink. A communication report arrived, encrypted, serious, urgent. The team leader, Lieutenant Mira Hayes, opened the file. Her expression changed instantly. She stood up straight, her voice calm but firm. "Everyone, listen. Alien fleets have moved closer to human borders. We do not know why. But this is not normal movement." Her team stared at her, confused and worried. "Are we in danger?" one young engineer asked. Myra shook her head slowly. "Not yet. But we must prepare." Humans had learned long ago to stay ready for anything. Not because they wanted war, but because history taught them that peace was never guaranteed. The outpost activated deeper scans. Machines hummed. Screens lit up. Silent alarms ran inside command networks across human space. Still, humans kept calm. No panic, no chaos, just focused preparation. Back in the council chamber, the arguments continued. Voices rose. Pride grew larger than caution. One leader slammed his fist on the table. If humans think they can expand into our space, we should stop them now. A single strike will remind them who rules this galaxy. Laren stepped forward again, trying one last time. Please, listen. Humans do not respond to threats like other species. If you strike them, even once, they will not back down. They will answer, and their answer will change everything. But the words were lost in the noise. The council voted. The decision was made. A coalition fleet would move toward human space, not to greet them. Not to talk, but to control them. Laren closed his eyes, feeling a heavy disappointment in his chest. They have no idea what they have just started, whispered. In a small observation room far from the council, Laren stood alone. Through a massive, transparent window, he watched the gas giant glow softly beneath the chamber. The rings reflected bright light like fire. He spoke softly to himself, almost as if speaking to the stars. I warned them. I told them what humans were. But pride always wins before peace. He touched the glass and stared into the dark space outside, knowing what would come next. And across the stars, he whispered, a sleeping force is waking. A force we should have never tested. The first spark of a war had already begun, but no one respected the warning. No one listened. No. One realized the storm they had just awakened, and humanity would soon rise. The alien coalition fleet moved through the dark space like a swarm of proud shadows. Their ships were shaped like knives, wings sharp and pointed, glowing with pale green engines. They believed they were the strongest power in the galaxy. They believed nothing could challenge them, especially not humans. Commander Varas, leader of the coalition fleet, stood on the bridge of his flagship. His reptilian eyes narrowed as he stared at the hologram of a small human research ship drifting near the border. A science vessel, his officer announced. Unarmed, slow, weak. Varas smirked. Good, the perfect example. He wanted to prove to everyone, especially the Galactic Council, that humanity was not a threat, that humans were only noise, and all noise could be silenced. Charge the forward cannons, Varas ordered. The officer hesitated. Commander, the council asks us only to send a warning. Varas growled softly. This is the warning. Inside the human ship, the small crew watched their monitors in confusion. A signal flashed. Unknown vessel approaching. High speed. Aggressive pattern. The captain, a quiet man named Dr. Samuel Drake, looked out the window. He saw nothing yet, but his face tightened. We are explorers, he said calmly, not soldiers. Send peaceful greetings. He sent a message. Silence. Another message. Silence. Then, without even a word, the alien fleet fired. A beam of green light hit the human ship, tearing through its engines. The explosion was bright, painful, and fast. The ship broke apart in seconds, scattering burning pieces across the empty sky. The human crew never had a chance, Commander. Varas watched the destruction with pride. Let humanity learn. This galaxy belongs to us. But he had no idea what he had just triggered. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, Ambassador Larone received the report. His hands trembled. His eyes darkened. No, he whispered. Why did they do this? Around him, council members argued loudly again. Some praised Varas's decision. Some pretended it was an accident. A few looked horrified but stayed silent. Laren lifted his voice. This was not a warning. This was murder. Humans will not ignore this. The avian leader snapped back. Humans will understand who holds power in the galaxy. Laron shook his head slowly. You do not understand them at all. He turned away from the council and walked to the far window, staring into the stars. He felt something heavy building far away, a quiet pressure, like the moment before a storm touches the ground. And he knew the storm had a name. Humanity on Earth. The news arrived within minutes. The broken pieces of the research ship were found through long-range scans. Families cried. Colonies stood in silence. Every human world went still, surrounded by a cold sadness that slowly changed into something sharper, resolve, human. Leaders gathered inside an emergency command room deep under the Pacific Ocean. Admiral Alina Cross stood at the center of the table. Her eyes calm, but burning with quiet anger. She played the final moments of the destroyed ship. Everyone watched the attack. No one spoke. This was unprovoked, Admiral Cross said. This was a message. General leaned forward. What do you want us to do? Admiral Cross looked at each of them. We do not attack blindly. We do not start wars. But we defend our people. And we never let fear control us. Soft alarm echoed. A new message appeared on their screens. Coalition fleets moving deeper into human space. Coordinates: 5 human colonies. Purpose: unknown, but everyone knew. Admiral Cross took a slow breath. Activate Protocol Atlas. The room froze. Turns toward her. Atlas was not a weapon. Atlas was a warning. Signal that humanity was preparing for something bigger than defense. Something bigger than fear. A single button was pressed across Earth. Massive orbital hangars opened, revealing dark shapes hidden for decades. Giant carriers, war frigates, stealth cruisers, all rising slowly from their docks like awakened giants. And in the heart of Mars, deep underground, an old machine hummed to life. Its engines glowed blue. It's brighter than any star. The humans were ready, but they still offered peace first. Commander, Baraz's fleet received a message. A single sentence from the Human Defense Network. You attacked innocent lives. Withdraw immediately. Varas laughed. They dare command us. He ordered his ships to move forward, but then something unexpected happened. Their scanners shook. Their screens flickered. A wave of unknown energy brushed past their fleet like a silent gust of wind. Commander, his officer said nervously, there is a distortion. Something large is approaching. Very large. Varaz leaned closer. Is it a star? A nebula? No. The officer swallowed hard. It is. Ships. Human ships, dozens of them, dropping out of hyperspace in perfect formation. Their engines glowing blue, their armor shining silver and black. They moved like living things, smooth, calm, without fear. Vera stared in shock. Impossible. Humans cannot build ships this advanced. But they had. A deep human voice came over the comms. Coalition fleet, leave now. This is your last warning. It was not loud. It was not angry. It was calm. To calm. The kind of calm that only appears for something unstoppable. Varys growled. Fire at will. But his officers did not move. They had seen the human fleet. They could feel it. It's like standing in front of a sleeping beast that had just opened one eye. Varys screamed again. Fire. Still, no one obeyed. Fear was stronger because the coalition. Crew finally understood. Laren is right. Humans did not shout. Humans did not scream. Humans acted. And once humans acted, the galaxy changed. Asterisk, the human fleet held its position like a calm metal wall in space. There were no bright colors, no dramatic weapons glowing. No loud signals, only a silent formation of ships built with quiet confidence. Their hulls reflected distant starlight, making them look almost alive. Every engine hummed with steady blue light. On the bridge of the human flagship, Admiral Alina Cross stood tall and steady. Her face showed no anger, only focus. Every officer around her watched their screens with a seriousness that felt heavier than gravity. Targeting. Data ready, one officer said. Weapons? Primed, another added. Admiral. Cross raised her hand lightly. Hold, she said. We fire only if they force us, no one argued. Humans followed discipline like a heartbeat. In the coalition fleet, panic spread quietly. The alien officers tried to hide it, but fear crawled across their faces. The human ships were smaller, But something about them felt dangerous, too balanced, too fast, too quiet. Commander Varas looked at his screens, confused and angry. Why are they not attacking? He demanded. Why are they not moving? His second-in-command swallowed hard. Sir, humans do not strike first unless they must. That is weakness. Varas roared. No, the officer whispered, that is confidence. Varas's claws tapped the metal table. His mind raced with pride, anger, and fear fighting inside him. Admiral Kroos opened a channel. Coalition fleet, she said in a calm voice. Your forces crossed into human space. You destroyed an unarmed ship. You will leave now. Her voice traveled through every coalition ship. It sounded almost gentle, but the silence behind her words carried a promise. A promise the coalition could feel in their bones. Commander Varas hissed in anger and answered, Humans do not command us. You will retreat or be destroyed. Admiral Kroos did not blink. You fired first, she said. We will finish what you start. Then she closed the channel. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, Ambassador Liren watched the live feed of both fleets. His hands gripped the edge of the table. It has begun. He whispered, The humans have arrived. Council members stared at the screen. Some were shocked, others frightened. The avian leader who once mocked humans leaned forward, her wings trembling. How? How did humans build a fleet like this? She whispered. Liren sighed deeply. They build in silence. They grow in silence. They rise in silence. And when the time comes, they stand. The council chamber fell into complete silence. Back in space, Commander Varas made his move. Pride clouded his mind. All ships, he commanded, open fire. Green beams shot toward the human fleet. Bright, loud, messy. The human defense fleet did not panic. They did not shout. They reacted like a trained muscle. Shields up, Admiral Kroos said. A transparent blue shield expanded around the flagship, absorbing the attack with almost no effort. Varas blinked. What? What is their shield made of? But the real shock came next. The human fleet moved. Not like other fleets, slow and heavy. No, they moved like water, like wind, smooth and precise. Each ship rotated and shifted position in perfect formation, as if they were connected by one mind. Officer Vega, on the human flagship, called out, Admiral, our counterstrike path is open. Admiral Kroos gave a single nod. Fire. The human response was fast and exact. No wasted shots. No useless explosions. No dramatic chaos. Blue-white beams shot forward, slicing through the empty space and striking the coalition's frontline ships. But instead of exploding the ships into pieces, the beams targeted engines, weapons, and control centers with surgical accuracy. The coalition ships went dark, disabled, silenced. One by one, Commander Varas watched in disbelief as 3 of his strongest cruisers drifted powerless. This cannot be real, he muttered. Their aim is to perfect. His officer whispered, humans, trained for this. They have simulations. They practice with real scenarios. They learn from every failure. Varas stared at the battlefield. For the first time in his life, he felt something he never felt before. Fear on the human flagship. Admiral Kroos remained calm. Enemy weapons at 27% functionality, Officer Vega reported. We can disable the rest, Kroos said softly. The humans continued their strikes. Not to kill. Not to destroy, but to end the fight quickly. Coalition ships lost engines. Lost shields. Lost weapons. And slowly, they realized they had no chance. Varas slammed his fist on the console. Fight back. Move forward. But no one moved. His officers looked broken, defeated, confused. One of them finally spoke, voice shaking. Sir, they're ships. They are decades ahead of us. They knew exactly where to hit. Commander, we cannot win. Varas froze. Humans had not just prepared, they had studied the coalition. They knew every weakness, knew every strength. They knew what was coming, and they were ready as the last coalition cruiser lost power. Admiral Krauss opened the channel again. "Commander Varas," she said quietly, "this battle is over." Varas breathed heavily, rage filling his chest, but his eyes betrayed helplessness. This is not possible." Admiral Krauss did not raise her voice. "You chose violence," she said. "We chose precision." She paused. "This is your final chance. Leave human territory now." The coalition fleet was broken, completely. Not destroyed, but disabled with such skill that every crew member understood. Humans could have ended them. They chose not to. That was the scariest part. Varas finally lowered his head. "Withdraw," he whispered. His officer opened her eyes wide. "Sir," I said, "withdraw." He shouted. The coalition fleet began to retreat, slow, damaged, humiliated. Ambassador Liron watched the moment and exhaled slowly. "It is ending," he murmured. "But this is only the beginning. The galaxy will never see humans the same way again." And he was right. The galaxy had awakened something unstoppable. Humanity had answered the call, and the universe felt it. The broken coalition fleet drifted backward like wounded shadows. Their engines flickered. Their weapons were dark. Their pride was shattered. No one spoke on the alien channels. No one dared to breathe loudly. The silence was heavier than the battle. On the human flagship, Admiral Elena Cross watched the retreat with calm eyes. Her hands were still behind her back, her posture straight, her voice steady. "Do not chase them," she ordered. "We are defenders, not conquerors." Her officers nodded. Humans understood this rule deeply. Fight only when forced. Win only what is necessary. Never take more than needed. Humanity did not rise to dominate. Humanity rose to protect. Meanwhile, in the coalition flagship, Commander Varas stared at the empty space ahead of him. His claws trembled slightly. His pride felt like broken glass in his chest. "How?" he whispered. "How did humans do this?" His second in command, an officer who once mocked humans openly, could barely speak. "They fought. Like they had already lived this battle 1,000 times. Like they knew every move we would make." Varas gritted his teeth. His anger had faded, replaced by a quiet, painful truth. "They spared us," he said. His officer nodded slowly. "They could have destroyed every ship, but they did not." Varas lowered his head as realization hit him. "Mercy is the strongest weapon," he muttered. "And humans wield it better than anyone." He felt shame. He felt fear. But above all, he felt respect, something he never expected to feel for a species he once called primitive. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, chaos had turned into stunned silence. The leaders watched the final moments of the battle replay on the hologram screens. Disabled coalition ships floated like silent monuments to bad decisions, Ambassador. Laren stood at the center. He was not smiling. He was not proud. He was simply sad. "I warned you," he said quietly. "I told you humans do not break. I told you they rise." The avian leader, once loud and arrogant, bowed her head. We were wrong." The reptilian general who demanded action earlier now looked like a child who had touched fire for the first time. "How did they do this?" he asked. Laren walked slowly to the center, his voice steady. "Humans grow in silence," he said. "They build their strength without showing it. They learn from every mistake. When they lose, they prepare so it never happens again. And when you attack them, even once, they unite. Like no species we have seen." A soft breath escaped him. This was not a war. This was a lesson. Everyone in the chamber lowered their eyes. For the first time, the galaxy felt something new, humility, back in human space. The fleet returned like silent steel angels. Damaged alien cruisers moved away slowly, escorted by human ships to ensure no one died in the retreat. Humans did not cheer. They did not celebrate victory. They rebuilt. They helped. They mourned the lives lost on the science vessel. Admiral Krauss stood alone in a quiet corridor of the flagship, watching the stars outside. Her reflection appeared faintly on the window. Officer Vega approached softly. "Admiral, the coalition has fully withdrawn." She nodded. "Good. They are requesting communication," Vega added. "They want to speak about peace." Admiral Cross took a deep breath. "Open the channel." Commander Varas appeared on the screen, clearly humbled. His armor looked heavy on his shoulders now. His voice was no longer loud or arrogant. "Admiral Cross," he began slowly. "We were wrong." Cross listened without expression. "We acted with pride," Varas continued. "We believed humans were weak. We believed we could force you to retreat. But we see the truth now." Admiral Cross waited. Varas lowered his head. "Humanity does not seek destruction. Humanity fought only to defend. And yet, you spared us. You saved our crews. You disabled, but you did not kill." He looked up, eyes filled with something new understanding. "For this, I offer our apology and our respect." The Admiral nodded gently. "We accept your apology. But understand, if you attack us again, the galaxy will see a different side of humanity." Vera swallowed. "We believe that, and we do not wish to see it again." Admiral Cross extended a single line of peace. "Let us end this with a future, not with fear." Varys nodded slowly. "Yes, a future." The transmission ended. Human officers watched their admiral silently. They felt proud, not because of power, but because of restraint, intelligence, and unity. Admiral Cross spoke softly. "Prepare aid packages for any injured crew in the coalition fleet. We help them return safely." Officer Vega blinked. "Admiral, they attacked us. They destroyed our people, which is why we must show them something stronger than war," Cross said. "We must show them what it means to be human." Even the stars looked brighter at the Galactic Council. Ambassador Lyron looked out the giant window at the glowing rings of the gas giant. He whispered to himself. The council begged them not to anger humanity. No one listened. He closed his eyes. But now, the galaxy understands. The truth had finally reached every corner of the stars. Humans were not monsters. Humans were not weak. Humans were not to be feared unless forced. They were something else entirely. A species of mercy and fire. A species of calm and power. A species that stood together when pushed. A species no one should ever underestimate again. The galaxy learned the truth. Humanity rises, and once they rise, the stars themselves change.